Right guys, with me Neil, my YouTube channel Behind the Wheel with Neil is going to be all about show me tell me questions for many different cars. Today we're looking at the show me tell me questions for Fiat Leon 2019 plate. This is a FR range, however it should be show me tell me questions for any Fiat Leon from 2019 upwards, probably from 2018 upwards. Alright, without further ado, we're going to be looking at the Fiat Leon FR. Tell me how you check that your tyres have sufficient tread depth and they're suitable for road use. So to ensure that they have no cuts and bulges around the outer edge of the tyre and the inner edge of the tyre, and making sure that using a tread depth gauge, making sure that you've got at least 1.6 millimeter of tread depth across the top center of the tyre. So it's like 3/4 across the center of the tyre. Okay, looking at the question for the parking brake. Show me how you would check that the parking brake is working effectively before starting a journey. So what you'd need to do, because it's an electronic handbrake, you would, first of all, put your foot on the foot brake, just somewhere down there, I don't know if you can see it there, where my foot's pressing on. Put your foot on the foot brake and keep your foot on the foot brake. Then go back to the parking brake and click the button down. You'll feel a noticeable change in the pressure on your foot brake. You'll know that the foot brake has been released. But then when you go back and put your parking brake back on by clicking the button up, so you click the button down, it releases the handbrake, the red light goes off. You click the button back up, then the red light comes back on, and then you feel a noticeable difference with the pressure on your foot brake. So that is how you will check that the parking brake is working before a journey. Next question, how would you demist the front and back windscreen effectively? Now, first of all, what you do is, to clean the front windscreen, you press this button here. Then you should hear the fan start to blow air on the front windscreen. Okay, now you can also use this button here, maximum, and it blows more air onto the front windscreen to get rid of the mist as quickly as possible. So to demist the front windscreen as quickly as possible. To switch it off, you just press off and it's gone off. So to demist the back windscreen, you press that button there and the light would come on. But I think I need to put my engine on for that. So if I put my engine on, press that, and then that light comes on, and that's how you demist the back windscreen. So to demist the front windscreen, you could press that. If you want a lot more air to blow onto the front windscreen, press max, and then off, and press that off, and then they're off. So that is how you demist the front and back windscreen effectively. Okay, next question. Now we're looking at how would you go from dipped headlights to main beam. So what you do, this dial down here, you'd switch from auto to side lights and then to dipped headlights. Once you're at dipped headlights, you'd go over to this, let me show you, this arm here, which is just behind the steering wheel, and you'd click it forward. Yeah, just a tap forward, and then you'd see the blue light come on in the on the dashboard. Then to take it off, what you do, that same arm, what you just clicked forward, you just click it backwards. And then when you click it back, the blue light goes off. So if I can direct my video camera, you can just about see the arm there. See if I can move the steering wheel out a little bit. Okay, so click forward, blue light comes on. Click backwards, blue light comes off. And then you can go back once you've finished and just switch the lights off. And that is how you'd go from dipped headlights to main beam. This question is, tell me how you check that the headlights and tail lights are working correctly. So you'd switch the headlights to dipped headlights, and then you tell them that you'd get out of the car and walk around to check that the headlights and the tail lights are working correctly. Another question is, how would you check, or show me how you would check that the hazard warning lights and the directional indicators lights are working correctly. So what you do is just press the hazard warning light on. It'll start flashing in the car, but then you'd have to get out and check that all the indicator lights, the two at the front, the ones on the door mirrors and the two at the back, are working correctly. Then switch off the hazard warning lights before you set off. Another question is, show me how you would adjust the head restraint for maximum protection in a crash. So what you do is you'd press this button to adjust the head restraint down or up, making sure that the rigid part of the head restraint is in line with the top of your ears, which is also in line with your eyes. Another question is, where would you find the recommended tire pressure for this car? And you would just look in your glove box. Hopefully you'll have in your glove box, you'd have your owner's manual, and in your owner's manual it'll tell you the recommended tire pressure for this vehicle. Another question is regarding your anti-lock braking system. How do you know that you have a problem with your anti-lock braking system? What you do is you switch the ignition on, and you see that ABS light down there, it says ABS. If that stays on when you're driving, then there's a problem with your anti-lock braking system. So the question regarding your power assisted steering. How would you check that your power assisted steering is working before starting a journey, or words to that effect? So basically you'd say the steering wheel should be stiff when the engine's not on, but when you switch the engine on, there's a noticeable difference within the steering and it becomes nice and loose. So if I switch the engine on now, so now it's stiff. If I switch the engine on now, the steering wheel becomes loose. Also, on your dashboard, there's a symbol which has a steering wheel and an exclamation mark right there. If that stays on whilst you're driving, it's giving you an indication and telling you that there must be a problem with your steering. Another question is, show me how you would use the washer wipers to clean the front and back windscreen effectively. So what you do is, this is the washer wiper arm, and what you do is just pull it towards you and wait for the water to come out on the screen. Then for the back windscreen, you just push it away from you. But you can hear the back windscreen wiper working, and that's it. So forward, let's have a look now. Let me just, so pull it towards me, the arm, there, front windscreen. Push it away from me, back windscreen. Okay, this question is regarding engine coolant. Where would you put the engine coolant, and how would you know you've got sufficient engine coolant in the engine? This is where you put the engine coolant, and you would check between the minimum and maximum marker down here to see that you've got sufficient engine coolant. This question is all about the brake fluid. It'll ask you, tell me where you would put the brake fluid and how you would check that you've got sufficient brake fluid in the bottle. So this is the brake fluid bottle, and you check to see how much brake fluid you've got in by the minimum and maximum markers. How would you check that you've got enough oil in the engine? You use this is your dipstick. You'd pull it out, You'd wipe it clean with a tissue, you put it back in, you pull it back out again, and there's 2 markers at the bottom of the dipstick which will be your minimum and maximum markers. You've got to remember to explain also that you check the engine oil levels when the engine is cold and on a flat surface, not facing up or not facing down on a hill. Where would you put your washer wiper fluid? You put it in here. It's a symbol for the washer wiper. You'd open up the cap, put water in, close the cap, and that's it. Okay guys, that's the end of the Show Me Tell Me questions for the Seat Leon FR. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope it helped. Subscribe to my YouTube channel Behind the Wheel with Neil. Give us a thumbs up, like my content, put some comments down below and hit the notification bell. Hopefully, I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.